Well, seems it is actually that time. Do we start it? Yes, it's time for the Scania build. So yeah, welcome back to Reviewer RC, and yes, I know you've been waiting a long time for this video, but as I've said before, we are taking it slowly with this one to do it properly. We have got other builds on the go, but I do want to take my time with this because obviously it is my first truck, my first 14th scale truck. I've got racing trucks, but I've also got all the buggies, etc. So I'm used to building the Tamiya stuff, but this is my first actual, excuse me, I've got a bad back. My first actual venture into the Scania trucks. So I wanted to go for one of the biggest, obviously. Right, how am I going to tackle this being a noob? I don't know why. Tamiyas, we all know Tamiyas. The manual is easy. The manual shows everything to scale. So it's just a case of follow it and put all the screws and whatever together. But for me, I think I've been delving into the Tamiya groups on Facebook and other places a bit too deeply, and I want everything to be done now, like the sound and the lights and all the paintwork and everything, to make it, as I'm building it, how it's going to be finished. Now, that is not realistic for me, money-wise mainly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build this as it is. There is, on the gearbox, a way of making it so that it's stuck in second gear, I think. Obviously, I said in my first video that I've got the 80 turn, not tooth, 80 turn motor. So that will make it a bit more realistic in the speed aspect. As you can see, I've separated all the plastic bits and pieces and the body off over here. They will be done as I'm going through this. I don't want to get to a stage where I need stuff and then go, oh, it needs to be painted. So I've got to wait 3 or 4 days for me to sand it down and prime it and paint it and whatever. So I will be doing all these. I do know the colours. They're up on the shelves. But we'll get back to that in a separate video, I think. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through it all, and I'm going to build it because I can take it apart. Now, I am going to probably, and I say probably, go for the beer sound and lights unit, which is a bit like the Tamiya MFC, but the Tamiya MFC, they show you how to do it in the diagram. In the manual. So it shows you how everything goes in. It shows you here what goes in where. But I am still thinking down the beer route. Now, I have gone for AT102, which is the radio link, which a couple of people I know have gone for. It looks quite complicated. Again, it's the whole programming it all and knowing the sequence of buttons for different lights and stuff. For argument's sake, the MFC won't cater for the lights in here and other bits and pieces. There's too many lights on it for the MFC, so that's another reason really to go for the beer unit. Well, a bit confusing. I think what I'm going to do is just grab the manual, grab a few boxes, sort all the screws out, and just start it. Otherwise, I'm going to be sat here going, what if? Ooh, should I do that? And it'll just sit in the box and do bugger all. So let's actually do something. And so I've been through the many boxes inside the main box. This is another one that has lots of plastic bits in. So I have been through and I have all of the hardware. So we have bags A through to G with a few other bits and pieces in. I've been having a few takeaways so that we can have decent sized boxes, and I will mark these up with a Sharpie or something or other so I know which bag is which, or just open it up and leave the stickers within there so we know what's what. If there is a small bag, we can use the smaller ones. Right, so I shall empty all that out and then we shall start. Right, so Chinese and Indian boxes will all go at the back of the board. I may well go elsewhere if I get any more room, because once the bits for the bodies start to get stuck on all of their it's not just the body. The way in my mind I'm thinking about it, this is going to be a two-tone colour, but also I want to incorporate the heavy hull cage, which is on the back of the cab. So that means that in the main box, there's still more plastic bits that will need to be painted. It's just going to be mammoth. If you have a look at Herbie RC Paints and have a look, he's done 2 or 3 now of the 8x44 Scania, and there are so many bits. So once these are done and on their little skewers, it's just going to take up so much space. And yeah, so that's the F, that's the G's. Let's begin. Right, so the first things first is a servo. I don't think I've got one. So it tells you to do the servo saver, etc., before you start the chassis. Now, obviously, you have the chassis rails. You're going to have to disappear off and try and find a servo. Oh, yes, I should have sorted this out. But anyway, I think from after, yes, so we can start on number 3, item number 3 in the manual, and we don't need the servo until we get to number 11. So, and then there's another servo down here for, that is the, oh, that's the coupler. That's the coupler one. So I need 2 servos before item number 12. I think I need to go onto eBay again. Yeah, nothing like being organised, is there? There are plenty of other bits and pieces because these just bolt through the chassis. So looking at it, yeah, organise yourself better than I am. That's for sure. I'm rubbish. Right. I seem to be okay because there's the shift servo which goes in on 11. Now I'm not going to be shifting it. I'm going to be looking through. Excuse me while I blow the cable over the phone. Right. I'm going to be looking through the Facebook groups and the modifications on how to set it to, I think it's second gear that a lot of people do. I'd like to just do it box and do the shift and all that lot, but I think I'm just going to stick with the steering servo and stick it so that it's in whatever gear people say to do. Now, with being a heavy haul, you won't be going lots of fastness. So I don't need the shift servo on item number 11, but I will need the steering servo on item number 12. So that's where I'm going to go. On the first step, you have to put the servo saver on, and you have to bolt the ball with a nut through into it. There are 3 in the bag. They all look the same. One of them stands out because it's a lot thinner. It's only 2mm internal for the bolt to go up through, and they all look exactly the same on the outer diameters and the outer dimensions. So that threw me a little bit, but once you pull them all out of the bag and have a look, then it's all good. And then on to step 2. There are so many parts. I've had to go to parts tree C, parts tree Z, and parts tree W. So that'll tell you how many bits there are to go. So I'm going to keep going with number 2 and see where we get. So this is turning into more of a tutorial of parts and steps than anything else. There is step number 3, where you get the chassis rails, and for some reason on one side you have a tiny washer, and then I looked at it and thought, well, they need one for the other side, but no, it's a part on tree E. Unsure why that is, that one's metal and one's plastic. Who knows? It may noises. It may transpire as to why at a later date, but anyway, I shall carry on. Well, it took me a while when it came to the cross members, because you have here the C parts, and there, if you can just about see there's C1 and C2 up here, which don't look anything like in the manual, but they're then put in these C parts, which are just a C1 and a C2. So you obviously ignore the other ones, but there's nothing in the manual to tell you that's what you do. Anyway, bits are coming together. Right, there's also this. Now, this would be an air tank of some sorts, which if you are going to be doing lots of painting and this isn't your first truck, you would probably, excuse me there, you'd probably end up painting this first. I'm going to put it all together first, and if I want to paint it afterwards, then I shall take it out. It's only going to be a couple of screws on each side and it will slide out of the chassis rails, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue if I do want to paint it. Right, so we have got up to section number 12, which is all the bag A, as far as I'm aware. Now, little bits that have not so much annoyed me, except I've just realised that I haven't put a screw in on this bit here, or that bit there. This coupler on the back, you will be chasing that spring around all over the place. Excuse me, I'm getting a cold. Yeah, that was fun. I was laying around on the floor and all sorts. So anyway, I've got to the beginning of section B, which is steps 13 to 19. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there, because I think I've waffled enough. This is the first video. So whereas I said I probably wouldn't be doing a series, it looks like I'm going to be doing a full series. It's taken me quite a while to get to here, because I've been doing 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. So yeah, as you can see, the body has now moved. That's been off to do bits and pieces with. That is taking time to do stuff. So that is where we are at the moment. There is one piece that I need to do, because obviously this is all black. There's a couple of pieces that I need to put on that are on these bits, which I haven't done anything with these. These come white, but they are bump stops for the suspension, so they need to be painted black. So I need to do that. See, this is where you should really read the manual. Anyway, I'm happy with it. It's coming on. So yes, I'm going to leave it with this video. You can see I've started and I am enjoying it. So hopefully from now on, I will be doing more videos for it, or a little bit quicker, shall we say. So there you go. Hope to see you soon. Take care, and I'm going to start getting all the tie rods together. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.